Brandon, let's talk some Cowboys. No, but we're just mention the Cowboys early, guys, and then go over the division a little later in the week. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, let's get right into it. How do you feel about this Dallas Cowboys team?
I think it is a weak NFC. Like, really have the Eagles and the Niners, and then I think Cowboys are probably the third best team in the division. So I think they should have a good season. I don't think they'll win the division, obviously, because the Eagles
are there, yeah.
But I'm expecting another solid season out of them.
Expecting a playoff run, or?
Depends who they're running into.
Yeah.
If they play it's 2 years in a row they lose to the Niners, so we'll see if
maybe revenge, right?
Yeah. If they run into us, they're done. There's no way they're beating us. But if they have like the Bucks, well, actually.
I
don't know if the Bucks
like
are
Saints follow. I don't know who's gonna take that.
Yeah, whoever wins that division, if they come up against, that's probably what they're gonna come up against in the first round. So I can see them easily winning like the wild card game, and then after that, it's really up in the air.
We'll see, but yeah, no, I mean, do you think this is like Mike McCarthy's last chance in Dallas if they don't do good in the playoffs?
I think he should have been fired this year, to be honest, or even the year prior. I don't think he's really a good head coach, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he got that one Super Bowl in Green Bay with Rodgers, and that was it. And after that, he went to Dallas and just hasn't replicated that magic. Honestly, I think Kalen Moore out as OC was a mistake.
Yeah, where are they going to LA, right? Chargers.
I think, but I don't think he was the issue. I think it was more just personnel and more on McCarthy not riling the team and getting them ready for the games. But that's another story. I think Kalen Moore as an OC is actually a really good guy. I think he's a really good OC, and we're going to see what he does in LA, especially with that Chargers team.
I think that's a really good.
That's a really good pickup on there, and a very underrated pickup.
Especially with such a pass-heavy team like the Chargers are, I think that's going to help them out a lot.
No, for sure, and maybe they get healthy receivers that stick around all season, and who knows, they replicate something. They do something nice. But speaking of receivers, Brandon Cooks
comes in as the wide receiver too.
How do you feel about that? I think that's the perfect fit for him, honestly, as a 2.
Me too. I think in Houston it was just a bad situation for him. Like, it was too much on his plate to ask for, especially with Davis Mills throwing him the ball. But we've seen, besides last year, he's been a really consistent wide receiver, one of the most underrated since he's come into the league. And he's been good wherever he's been, so I think he can rejuvenate himself this year.
No, I agree, especially that he's getting the workload of the wide receiver too. He's probably going to see a lot of man-on-man coverages. He won't get that double team, so to say. I think that's going to be more on CD. And Cooks has got the speed. I mean, we've seen it in Houston. We've seen what he's done. He's been consistently good, minus last season. Obviously, circumstances were different, but he comes over to Dallas, who has already that wide receiver 1, who has a better quarterback than Houston. And no, I think this is what Dallas has also been lacking for a long, long time.
Yeah.
They've never had that consistent wide receiver 2, and hopefully Brandon Cooks can be that for them, and hopefully he can rejuvenate his career.
Well, they did have Amari Cooper like 2 years ago, which I think was good for them. Just last year, like, the wide receiver 2 was like Michael Gallup coming off a big injury.
Yeah, that was.
They had like Noah Brown, so
the drops were real.
Yeah, so I think now having CD, Cooks, and Gallup is a nice 1, 2, 3.
No, I agree. I think that's a very underrated trio. Obviously, CD's great. We know what CD can do, and no, I'm excited to see what Brandon Cooks does. At least I don't care about the rest of the team because them Cowboys.
But one thing I'm also going to be interested with them is they lost Dalton Schultz as tight end.
Yeah.
And they brought in Luke Schoonmaker in the draft. I don't know if he's. I think he's injured right now. I think he's on the PUP list, but I wonder what's going to happen at that position. I think right now Jake Ferguson's probably the favorite for that, yeah. But I'm not really convinced by any of the options they have right now.
No, that's it. Schultz is a very underrated tight end. Actually, what he did in Dallas as a safety blanket for Dak was pretty good. He had the nice stats, nice numbers, and hopefully they found it with their draft pick, but we'll see.
Especially for rookie tight ends, they never really come into the league, and like
usually second half is where they really come into the offense and show what they're worth.
I can't really think of a rookie tight end that really was like amazing.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, but Kyle Pitts, he had like 1 touchdown. I know he had like over 1,000 yards. We only had like 1 touchdown, so.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, okay.
Especially for a guy that was like a 6th overall pick, it's tough for him to come in and like produce right away.
No, for sure. But also Zeke finally getting cut, or not finally, depending on who you ask. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it was just, you're in the league, 5-6 years now as Zeke, and you're being outperformed by your 2 for a couple of seasons now. I think it was about time he was regressing. His numbers weren't too great. Last year only had like 3.8 yards per carry, which was down from his 4.0 plus previous seasons. And I mean, we saw it. We saw he lost the steps. If you watch the games, he wasn't the same player.
Yeah, he really turned into like a goal line back for them.
He was literally, you're at the one, okay, he's great at getting you 1-2 yards. That's what he does, gets his touchdown, but other than that, can't do it. You do that, you get rid of him and you put TP as your one.
I like that.
I like that move a lot. Just I know a lot of people are asking, is he a workhorse back? I think personally he is.
I don't know. I think he's just a bit too small and he doesn't really have the...
I get that argument, but we've never really seen him in that role, so I kind of want to see it before we like judge it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's one of my favorite backs in the league. Even though he plays for the Cowboys, I really like Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I agree.
And they brought in Ronald Jones to be the backup, and they drafted Deuce Vaughn.
Isn't he gone for the year now?
Yeah, no, I think he's out for the first 2 games. He went
it was suspended, okay.
Yeah, for PD or whatever.
Rojo, baby.
But Ronald Jones, I actually liked him in Tampa like 3 years ago, but he hasn't done much of anything since.
The only thing I remember about Ronald Jones is when he busted out that 99-yard touchdown. That's about it. But he was on PED, so I mean, was it really good?
I think but for Dallas, they should probably bring in a Fournette or something. But I don't know what they're gonna do. And even as for Zeke, I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't signed on another team yet. I thought like some team would bring him in as a 2. I doubt he's really asking for much money because I don't think the interest is really there in him.
I don't know, because he got paid in Dallas. He got a lot of money with them, so maybe his market is a little high right now and he's not going to get what he wants, but we'll see. Obviously, the running back market is very, very thin, and the positional players get hurt a lot, which sucks for teams. So I can definitely see Zeke being implemented in our roster halfway through the season.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Due to like some big injuries coming in at some teams' running backs room, which is gonna suck. But speaking of this offense, Dak Prescott.
I saw a clip actually this morning of him checking up a prayer to one of the smaller receivers, and then he got picked off.
I don't know. What do you like? Do you like Dak?
No, I think he's making too much money, and he's too not injury prone, but turnover prone. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Whenever I watch Dak play, like, if he's literally worse than Kirk Cousins, and he needs a scheme around him.
I was just about to say, I feel like he's just in the same tier as like a Kirk Cousins.
But I think he's worse because if he's not schemed properly, he can't make that big throw.
Yeah.
Like, I just, like, ever since that injury in 2021 or whenever he went down with that ankle injury when he was, like, playing for an MVP level, it just has not been the same quarterback. He's lost a step for whatever reason.
And he doesn't run anymore.
Which was what helped him out a lot back 2 seasons ago. And he has the receiving core. He has the O-line that gives him time. It's just doesn't make the right reads. Like I said, if they're not schemed around him, he won't make the read. And it's just, I don't know, I don't like Dak. I think he's getting paid too much money too.
I think there's just a guy that you cannot win a Super Bowl with. I think he'll bring you to a certain, there's just a cap on what he can do.
There's a ceiling and he can't go through it.
Exactly. I don't think Super Bowl is really that ceiling. He's got the roster around him. Like, as much as we want to, not like the Cowboys because they're a fan base and whatever, they have a good roster.
They do have a good roster. I have to give it to them on offense and on defense.
They just can't put it all together, especially their defensive line. I really like that defensive line with Lawrence, Parsons, and now Mozzie Smith getting added into it. So.
No, I agree. And I think for Dak also, this is sort of his last year. Yeah, if he doesn't do good, he's gone.
How long does he have left on his contract? Do you know that?
I don't know. I'm gonna search that up, but I believe it's 1 or 2 years.
I think it might be 2, but I'm not sure.
Dak Prescott in 2021. So 2 more years.
2 years.
But he's projected to get like $50 million this season and 52.1 next year. That's a lot of money for your quarterback.
The only thing is, I think even if they don't produce this year, what's going to be the alternative? Like, I don't really see. Maybe if the Cardinals finish dead last in the league and end up with Caleb Williams, maybe Kyler Murray gets dealt. I think that's the only
Kyler Murray to Dow, that could be interesting.
But that's something for next year. The landscape changes so often in the NFL that who knows? Some guy could become available. But as of right now, that's the only guy. at the top of my head I can think of if they were to get rid of Dak.
That would be an interesting trade, especially if they do get Caleb Williams, like you said. But anyway, speaking of this Dallas defense, we mentioned it a little earlier. That D-line is really, really good.
Mm-hmm. One of the best in the league for sure.
We got to give Micah Parsons his flowers. He is as good as they get, and he is just elite at that position. What do you have, like 18 sacks last season?
Not better than Nick Bosa, though.
No, but he is definitely in that tier.
Yeah,
like Nick Bosa's ahead maybe, but like he's
definitely second best edge rusher if you consider he is an edge rusher. Really.
He is an edge rusher. He goes after the quarterback. You got Ozo Odighizuwa, who's coming in on your D-line, who I really like him. Very, very underrated. Now you bring in a guy like Mozzie Smith. That D-line is going to be very, very good because Micah Parsons is commanding double team no matter where you are. So automatically, if you're rushing 4, Micah gets double teamed, your one-on-one coverage is the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. And this D-line is good enough to beat that one-on-one coverage. Unless teams are sending like big packages with the blocking tight ends, I don't see many teams being able to nullify this D-line. And I think they're going to get after the quarterback this year, and it's going to continue to be elite.
And what do you think about their secondary now that they bring in Stephon Gilmore? And they also make Trayvon Diggs the most expensive quarterback of all time.
I think this cornerback room is very overrated. Yes, they get the picks. Yes, they get the turnovers. It's just look at their numbers and coverage. They're not great. They're not good corners. Stephon Gilmore is not the same corner as he was in 2019. I'm sorry.
I think he was all right last year. I'm not.
The only thing I remember about Stephon Gilmore is getting absolutely cooked by Jefferson against the Colts. Like he was sent packing, literally, in the biggest comeback in NFL history. He got sent packing.
Yeah, but I don't think he's defensive player of the year like he was. What year was that? 2019 that he won that?
Yeah.
I think he's just like an average quarter right now. But as your 2, I think he's a pretty good 2 in my opinion.
Yeah, that's people. Everyone has a different take.
And they also re-signed Donovan Wilson, the safety. So I think that was a good re-signing as well to bring him back.
Yeah, but no, just quick off the top of your head before we wrap this up and get into the division. What do you think the Cowboys are going to do this season? Like quick record prediction. You see them replicating like what they did last year?
What did they get? 12 wins last year?
I think 12 and 5.
So I think it's going to be pretty similar to that. Another 12-win season, and I think they get bounced in like the second round of the playoffs again. As much as they improve the roster, it's just like, does the ceiling go up with this team with those additions? I don't think so. So I think yet again they're going to be another second round exit. Maybe they make an NFC Championship game, but I don't see it.
No, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think they're gonna replicate that 12 wins. I think they can hit that pretty easily. It's just how much of a difference are they gonna be in the playoffs? For a second round exit for me as well.
So we're gonna go deeper into the record in our next video, where we go over the whole NFC East division. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys in that video.
Yes, sir. Stay tuned for that one.
Yep. Yes,
Bye,
sir.
guys.